Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. Jaguars and Texans.
Another game
We've
where
got
special teams decided to try and throw the game.
We got some games here to break down. Houston Texans 36. 36. Jags 29. Texans move to 4-5. Jags fall to 5-4. It was 29-10. Jacksonville heading into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Houston outscored Jacksonville 26-0 in the fourth quarter. Now, one of those is right at the death as just a play that only served to ruin people that had the points.
Yes, I had. Did you take the Jags too?
Yeah,
we both had the Jags getting 1.5. So when they were losing by 1,
anything other than what happened on the last play, we win.
Perfectly fine. I think I was explaining to Harry. Well, the Jags are either going to kick a game-winning field goal or lose by 1. Unless there's that defensive touchdown. This is in your, I'm sure SVP's breaking it down on ESPN for non-YouTube TV subscribers.
Taking a break from pushing people to the website to reactivate your YouTube.
Texans, man, they pulled it off. Davis Mills with the game-winning touchdown run.
Yeah.
Impressive run by Davis Mills, 14-yarder. To put the Texans up. Let's work back. I don't know. Where do you want to start with this game? There's a lot here.
Again, the Browns special teams unit spotted the Jets 14 points. The Texans basically did the same thing in this game. They had a penalty on a field goal that extended a drive. Then they fumbled the kick return on after that, which the Jags scored from. That was the spectacular Parker Washington touchdown catch.
Yep.
So it's 10-0, like almost immediately. Then they give up a punt return touchdown to Parker Washington. So like another team where the special teams just decided to spot the opposition 14 points or whatever. So as much as Jacksonville looks like they have this completely in hand, they've got the big lead, and now you've got Davis Mills behind an offensive line that's not very good trying to execute a big comeback. A huge amount of that deficit was simply the special teams for Houston was cataclysmic in the first half.
And that goes both ways, right? It's like if it's that bad, sometimes the comeback was not like it shouldn't have been unforeseen, right? Because it's like a fake. Like the Jags are up 17-0
right.
on a short, couple short fields that they're given and a 72-yard punt return. It's really tough to sustain that.
Well, the difference between those and other crazy, comeback or deficit situations is if the points were put on the board because the offense is rolling, I mean, that can easily sustain for an entire game. If the points were put on the board because the special teams unit had 3 random plays where it just crapped itself, the chances are that's not happening in the second half. So you can actually come back because they're not going to put up another 21 points on offense. You can actually, you may have stopped them already, and you just need to keep doing that, and you'll execute a comeback. Whereas part of the problem with coming back from these huge deficits normally is you can't stop them scoring. So even if you get it together on offense, you need to stop them as well.
So the Jags were up 17-0 early, as you said.
Yep.
Then it was 20-3. They start to sneak back into it. They get to 20-10 after scoring a touchdown. But again, the Jags, another field goal. It's 23-10, and they get up to 29-10. Travis Etienne with a 6-yard touchdown. Jags go for 2. At that point, at 29-10, trying to make it 31. They don't get it. That ends up, I don't know if that comes back to bite a little bit because the Texans hit a 2 and then they missed a 2. But 29-10, and then the Texans just start chipping away. Davis Mills hits Jaden Higgins for a touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion, one-handed catch by Nico Collins, who had some really nice contested catches, combat catches, as some coaches like to say, Sam.
Collins was spectacular.
Yeah, he made a few really nice plays. Including he had in the next touchdown drive a 22-yarder in traffic, and then Dalton Schultz 7-yard touchdown to make it 29-24. They missed the 2-point, but every time this happens, the Texans defense makes a stop and gives their offense a chance to make a play, and that was the Davis Mills 14-yard touchdown for the win. Really a spectacular comeback for Houston to maybe even save their season.
Yeah, Houston's defense, I mean, it's pretty spectacular as well.
So good.
Like they had the Donnell Hunter was amazing. The one-handed interception from Derek Stingley is one of the greatest interceptions you're ever going to see. Like it's a slightly, it's on the hip as opposed to out in front. But like Stingley's one hand just like reaches in to the hip, grabs the ball, and somehow brings it in as well. Utterly ridiculous turnover. Like their defense has been spectacular. Also, this ended up being scoregami with that last crazy touchdown.
Really?
I believe so.
36-29. Interesting.
I can check if you like, but I believe that's the case.
I'm somewhat interested. So how does this all happen too? So the Jags, right? There's credit, there's blame. Where does this all go? The Jags in the fourth quarter ran 9 plays.
Confirmed scoregami.
There you go. Jags ran 9 plays. Well, they had 3 drives that started in the fourth quarter. Let me just say it this way. They had 3 fourth quarter drives.
Okay.
Drives that started in the fourth quarter where they had a chance to, seal it when they had the lead, or in the last one, down 1. So you're down 1 with Cam Little, by the way, right? Like, we're in this world where we say, don't leave any time. You're 1 deep in cut away from field goal range in today's NFL. Plus, you have Cam Little, the NFL record holder,
who they were using the target line or field goal range. They were using the record.
Yeah,
We've just seen that he's
need
able to hit
5 yards after
from
the
68.
kickoff.
So his target line is here.
So in those drives that started in the fourth quarter, the Jags ran 9 plays for 11 yards. That's it.
Yeah.
Brutal. A brutal finish for their offense. It may have been less than that if you add in penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
bad.
sorry. It was 9 plays for a net 1 yard in the fourth quarter. And I mention this every week because it's like, how do you describe good defense? Coverage and pass rush together, right? The Texans they just manned up on the Jags. Nobody's open, and the pass rush gets home and creates havoc up front, and they couldn't complete a pass in the fourth quarter. They couldn't do anything. And that's, Texans defense locked it down, and the offense did a nice job getting back into it. Woody Marks ran well, and Mills made a bunch of plays. Jaden Higgins had the touchdown and a couple nice catches in there. Key first downs. He had 3 first downs through the air. And then Nico, who you mentioned. So credit the Texans for making this, but this is a collapse from the Jags, man. This is a bad collapse for them.
Failure.
And they had some old takes exposed out. They had some guys, being like, I'm not going to jinx it. It's 6-3, and we're going to sweep the Texans and all this.
Well, you had that, and you had the other guy. You had the guy that retweeted years-old takes of me in this game.
He's a Jags guy.
What a tool. What a tool.
John Shipley?
Yes, John Shipley.
So now he's been, I think, generally okay through the years. He got a little – I think he got a little chirpy with me last year because I brought up – I think I put I want you to tell your story. I want you to tell your side for the people. But last year I put up the screenshot of like Trevor Lawrence, Mahomes going out of bounds, like a few different quarterbacks, like screenshots of them before they got popped. And this is, Lawrence, of course,
making the point that it was different.
I was just saying, I don't even remember what the point I was trying to make. But the fact that I even put Lawrence before he got smoked by Al-Shaair on the same picture as Mahomes, when he was like kind of running out of bounds and came back in and people were, didn't know if they could hit him. The fact that I even implied those two on the same screenshot got John a little upset and some Jags fans upset last year.
Early in this game, when, remember, this lead that they had built was based off the Houston Texans special teams unit looking like one of the worst units in football, he retweeted 2 old tweets of mine. The first one was from December the 27th, 2021. Which said, if only Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, i.e. QB 1 and 2 from that draft, were showing the flashes of elite play that Davis Mills is, who was a third-rounder that Renner had said they literally lit the pick on fire, right? Wasn't that Davis Mills?
Yeah.
But he was actually out there playing pretty well. That would get you drug tested 4 months ago, but it's 100% true in late December of their rookie years. So he retweets that. He then retweeted another one, which is from October the 25th, 2022, the following year, which said, it was me quote tweeting someone that said, last night was big for everyone who had Davis Mills QB1 in that draft class. And I quote tweeted that in 2022 saying it's crazy that there's a legitimate chance that Davis Mills is actually the best quarterback from what was billed as one of the best quarterback classes in years. So he retweeted those 2 things and blocks me so I can't reply. Now, I don't know when the blocking took place. It is entirely possible that he has blocked me previously in the process of just being a general douchebag. But it certainly is like, I'm going to quote tweet these 2 things. They're years old and block the guy so there's no right of reply.
Did you quote tweet them or retweet them?
Retweeted them, sorry.
Okay. So he's sitting there watching the game.
But his basic thing is like, I'm going to take a victory lap over these Davis Mills takes, which, by the way, are not even takes. It's not even like I'm out here saying
they were just comments at the time. Yeah.
Davis Mills is obviously the best quarterback here. I'm like, so number one, the rookie season thing. Like, if you plotted these draft class, I was curious, if you plotted that draft class, right, and did that, have you seen those sort of cumulative EPA charts?
Yeah.
Austin Gale loves these.
Yeah.
Like the cumulative EPA charts, we see sort of how up or how good or bad they go over their careers. Both of these fit in the range where Davis Mills' EPA is better than Trevor Lawrence's. Now, obviously, Davis Mills then ends up as a career backup when we go to C.J. Stroud and blah, blah, blah. And Trevor Lawrence improves because Urban Meyer's not his coach anymore. But, like, neither of these are crazy at the time. And even if they were, it's 3 years later and I wasn't even making that point. So that's
petty.
It's
petty nonsense.
It's just staggering asshole behavior.
During a game, too, isn't he covering the team?
Well, it's staggering asshole behavior.
These receipts mid-game? What's going on?
It's staggering asshole behavior, and it's also incredibly stupid because every one of us has been doing this long enough to know that if you try and take victory laps mid-game, there's a lot of things that can happen to make that look stupid. Like, for example, Davis Mills executing a game-winning comeback and stabbing you right in the heart at the death, and you end up looking like an idiot. So be less of an asshole, be less of an idiot, and don't do things like this.
I stand with you.
Thank you.
In that. By the way, the 2 times that you put those out there, yes, like Trevor Lawrence's rookie season, he was not good. Urban Meyer.
Correct.
In October of 2022, the first half of that year, he wasn't good. That was like right when he turned it around.
Exactly.
So like at the time, you were just making an observation. You're not like, man, I'll take Davis Mills for the next 10 years.
Exactly.
It wasn't even a declaration.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
It was just like an observation.
Even if I had, like, the worst thing that could have happened is at that point I'd been like, it's obvious Davis Mills is better than Trevor Lawrence. Everyone that thought otherwise is wrong, right? That would have been unfortunate, but it would have been understandable at that point. I wasn't even saying that. I was just saying how crazy this situation is where, like, generational best quarterback since John Elway, Trevor Lawrence, at this point does not look any better than Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Like, that was the point I was making. And 3 years later, this asshat is retweeting that and being like, look at this guy.
You know who wouldn't stand for that?
Who?
Our friend Seth Payne. I know Seth's watching, covering the Texans. Seth wouldn't stand for that.
No.
He wouldn't allow that to happen.
No. Seth would never.
So, look, I want to give proper credit.
Where does he stand in this? Because former of both teams, right?
He's a Texans guy now.
Okay.
I mean, he's a Jags legend for me.
But that's what I'm saying.
99
when
Jags
they play,
legend.
what does he do twice a year? Does he have to have that split jersey that Mama Kelsey wears?
He's all Texans, man.
Okay.
He's all Texans now. It's a bit of a turncoat, I would say. Seth. But I think he's all Texans. So, man, so Houston saves their season. Their defense is spectacular. And, look, the offensive line has given them a chance in a lot of games now, more often than not now. And Mills made some huge plays, including one with his legs.
Yeah.
So credit them. Their defense is locked down, and they could, if their offense can just be pretty good, they're a dangerous team, which is why I always like the Texans all year. 4-5 now. Jacksonville, spectacular collapse. And I just want to talk about Trevor Lawrence really quickly here because of your takes from 4 years ago. Now, I think he's faced a run. If we're being fair to Trevor Lawrence, let's look at the teams that they've played. Texans twice now in 10 weeks. Legit lockdown defense. Mm-hmm. Seahawks, Rams, right? Seahawks defense. We see what they're doing.
It's a brutal run.
Right? It's a run of defenses. Now, in the middle of that, you've got the Raiders. Not great.
Without his top 2 wide receivers in this game.
Yes.
Start.
And so you have no Brian Thomas Jr. You have no Travis Hunter. They just traded for Jacoby Myers,
in
right?
fact,
So
top 2 receivers and tight end. Like, he's missing, arguably, he's missing 3 of their top sort of 4 or 5 passing targets.
Played the Chiefs Monday Night Football, and that was maybe his best game given, like, it wasn't all clean, but given the fourth quarter comeback and the Stumble-Ruski play for the game winner, pretty good. But it's been a rough go.
Yeah.
For Trevor in the passing offense. And we've said this every week. Are the drops through the roof? Absolutely. There's something missing. Like I'm always, from watching Trevor Lawrence, his timing, I always feel like he's either sped up too much or he's a tick slow. In his timing, I think what is I think what's been holding him back. I don't know how you fix that. I'd love to we got to talk to JT. I don't know if he's broken down Trevor this year because I'm just fascinated by it. Like, he should be better. Like, we keep coming out of this saying he should be better, not just because he throws the ball fast, but because he's been better before. He's played better football. And I really thought that the combination with Liam Cohen would get him playing better. And again, there's circumstances.
Yeah.
Missing receivers. Yeah, it's the first year in the system, but you're facing a run of defenses that are challenging to play against. But there was a point in Trevor Lawrence's career where I think like a half season or so, where he was maybe a full season across 2 years, where he was elevating the Jags, and I haven't seen that for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And so like 22 and 23, like the second half of 22 and the first half of 23, it felt like that's your big step forward. And now we're 2 years removed from that, and it's just not feeling it right now.
Yeah, I mean they get an interesting run from this point on. You get another challenging defense in the Chargers, but then you face Arizona, Tennessee. You get the Colts twice down the stretch, but you also have the Jets, the Titans again, and then in the middle of that is Denver's defense, which will obviously be a problem. But there's some games that you should be able to get a much better version of Trevor Lawrence in.
And I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but here's the deal. I see some people putting the tweets out there, like the frustration that Liam's showing, the fact that James Gladstone, the new general manager, is extremely aggressive. Extremely aggressive. They're the team that traded Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford, right? That they said, we have a good quarterback who took us to a Super Bowl, and they said, but we want better. I see people asking, like,
and they also didn't give him the deal.
Who's that?
This regime.
Oh, didn't give Lawrence the deal.
Lawrence the contract.
I see the rumblings. I just see the rumblings and the theories. Like, would they move on? Would they try to trade him? And there's a lot, as always, there's a lot of teams around the league I think would love to have Trevor Lawrence and say, we'll take a shot with Trevor Lawrence, right? So I'm just interested in that for a team that doesn't have a first-round pick next year now. And you have, Trevor Lawrence is a great trade. Like, a lot of teams would really want to have Trevor Lawrence on their team. Would the Jags play that game? I know it's 5-4. We're halfway through the season. Just throwing it out there. It's an interesting dynamic given Liam Cohen looks frustrated. James Gladstone's really aggressive. They don't have a first-round pick, and Lawrence is playing the worst football of his career since rookie season.
Yeah.
The beginning of 22 when you were tweeting about him.
As you know, I don't like to bring up Walt in the chat, but Walt says that he's got shoes older than James Gladstone. I think that's probably true.
34-year-old James.
Yeah.
I believe that. All right, you got no more use for this game. Texans save their season.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.